You'll need more than talent alone to win this game. It's Casting Call, the game where you audition for a role in a Hollywood blockbuster. Let's see if you've got what it takes to make it to the red carpet. Casting Call. It's the game where everyone plays a part.
When high school senior Alex runs for class president to take down Bart, the school's power-drunk bully, he knows he'll need more backup getting elected, like Jordan, his ex-best friend, who's not only a closeted heartthrob, but also a social media golden boy. Jordan's involvement in Alex's campaign would be sure to reignite the old spark between them. But as secrets from their past surface, their political rival Bart plans to ruin both of their reputations. In a nose-to-nose campaign for class president, Jordan must take on an impossible choice: protect his image and the social media following he worked so hard to get, or join his friend, the boy he never stopped loving. Welcome to JC Stories, the podcast where bromance turns bromosexual, written by JC Calciano. Today's tale has it all: political intrigue, young love, and a forbidden romance. So if you're ready to take a trip back to high school with us and confront the school bully, then come on along, because everyone's welcome on this class trip. Grab your hall pass, because it's time to vote for a new class president in this month's episode, Red Hot Running Mate. Alex took a deep breath, adjusted his glasses, and stood tall in front of the school's glass-encased announcement board. Bart Stevens for class president glared back at him in obnoxious red, white, and blue block letters. It was the kind of design that screamed intimidation rather than school spirit. "What are we going to do?" a soft female voice asked. Alex cringed, disgusted by the political poster enticing the student body to vote for Bart, the next president. He turned to see Emma, his best friend and the current vice president of the LGBTQ Student Alliance, looking at him with sympathetic concern. Her short, dark curls bounced slightly as she leaned into him. "I have to run," Alex said decisively, glancing back at Bart's smug face on the poster. Emma squeezed his shoulder gently. "Well, if anyone could beat him, it's you, Alex." Alex knew he had the drive, the brains, and a passionate local community behind him, but he also knew that popularity mattered, a cruel reality in high school politics. Alex was toned, handsome, and fit from years of track. Although not tall, he stood proud with broad shoulders that tapered down to a narrow waist built by years of training in the high school gym and late-night runs. His hair was golden brown, cut short, clean and precise. His eyes were green with golden flecks. They were sharp and searching, almost half lost in thought, but always quick to flick back with intensity. His sexy, nerdish appearance sharply contrasted with Bart. Although Bart was taller than he was, unlike Alex, Bart had a body built on cheeseburger and fries. He boasted that his large size and frame made him powerful, but in truth, he was anything but. Sure, his mass was intimidating, but he lacked agility, strength, and dexterity. Bart was loud, and his politics were dirty. His platform contained rants against inclusive school policy and pledged loftily unrealistic promises that he had no intention of delivering. Alex's stomach twisted at the sight of Bart. He hated the way he treated the less fortunate students in class, which included nearly everyone outside his immediate clique. Alex knew that everyone's senior year would be hell if Bart became president. He needed to do something, and he'd need more help than he currently had if he truly wanted to defeat Bart in the upcoming election. And that is where Jordan fit in. Jordan Whitmore was many things: captain of the swim team, social media superstar with over 200,000 followers, and the object of countless high school fantasies, both boys and girls alike. With effortlessly windswept golden hair, blue eyes like pools of clear water, and a physique that turned heads wherever he went, he epitomized keen idol perfection. He was also Alex's best friend, or at least had been up until a year ago. Their friendship imploded during junior year when they finally gave in to their feelings for each other in Alex's parents' pool. Ever since kindergarten, the two boys have been inseparable besties, But that changed that one hot summer evening. It happened during a swim, when everyone in the house was asleep. The moon was full, cicadas clamored, and the two young strapping men swam in the warm water together. They splashed, laughed, joked, and secretly teased each other about how their bodies had matured. Even in the dim light, it was easy to see that their muscles were now defined, and little tufts of golden hair were appearing beneath their belly buttons. It was the beginning of tight square chests and the subtle disappearance of their facial boyhood features. Alex playfully baited Jordan as he hopped onto the pool edge, his legs dangling into the hot tub. "So, when are you gonna finally do the deed? Has anyone caught your eye in school yet? I know you're still a virgin. Have you ever picked who you want to lose your cherry to?" Jordan laughed, splashing water, and teased back at Alex. "Well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I'm not telling you either way. Something should stay private." Alex raised an eyebrow, smiling softly, and then quietly whispered, "Please, you tell me everything. We both know you can't keep a secret. Plus, if it is privacy you're after, well, here we are. No one's watching. No one will know. And if you and I, well, I'm just saying." Jordan effortlessly lifted himself out of the water with his strong arms, and with a wet splot, he sat beside Alex, his newly formed pump biceps catching Alex's eyes. Jordan didn't respond verbally to Alex's indecent proposal. Instead, he casually leaned back and slightly pawed his legs, glancing down at his wet, hard crotch. Without speaking a word, he said everything Alex wanted to hear. Well, Alex was already excited, as Jordan could tell from the bulge in his wet, clinging swim trunks. He instantly made his move, placing his hand gently on Jordan's wet, muscular thigh. Jordan's breathing quickened at Alex's touch, his eyes meeting Alex's gaze intently. "Are you sure you want to do this? Should we?" he murmured, voice thick with anticipation, excitement, and trepidation. Alex didn't answer immediately. Instead, he slipped his hand slowly upwards until his fingers slipped beneath Jordan's wet swim trunks, his firm hand grasping what was now the thing he had fantasized about for years. "Oh, I absolutely do," he replied, leaning in to capture Jordan's lips in an electric kiss. Their mouths met urgently, igniting a fiery passion long held back between them, their bodies pressing close together under the moonlit sky, rolling onto their backs next to the pool and onto a nearby towel, both aware that their relationship would never be the same after that night. The next day at school, and every day after that, Jordan distanced himself more and more from Alex. Sure, he was always cordial at school, but there was no, "What's up?" No phone calls, no casual hangouts after class, and definitely no more late-night swims in Alex's pool. Alex tried reaching out, but Jordan avoided him and any discussion about that evening. It had been a magical and beautiful experience Alex had hoped would unite them, but instead, it had driven them apart. Jordan isolated himself and buried his sexuality deeper in denial, hiding behind a carefully constructed image of a straight social influencer whose appeal relied on shirtless selfies, athletic prowess, and cocky charm. Now a year later, Alex stood nervously by Jordan's locker at school, his heart racing. He needed a favor. He'd rehearsed his pitch countless times, yet nothing had prepared him for the sight of George strutting down the hallway, laughing with his friends. His muscular frame perfectly detailed beneath a tight white t-shirt and snug-fitting jeans. George stopped abruptly when their eyes met, his laughter fading. His gaze became wary. He casually dismissed his group and approached with caution. "Alex," he said with a deep voice and bro nod, Alex swallowed hard, his throat suddenly dry. "Hey, Jordan, how's it going?" They stood in awkward silence for a moment before Alex leaned forward. "Look, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important." Jordan's expression tightened slightly. "Okay, so what's up?" "I'm ready for class president," Alex said, forcing confidence into his voice. "We all need this school to be safe, a welcoming place for everyone." "Bart's a blowhard and only cares about himself and his friends. We both know that if he becomes president, it's gonna be a disaster." Jordan's jaw tensed. He glanced around and dropped his voice even further. "Well, what am I supposed to do about it? The guy's popular. He talks a good game. We all know he's full of shit, but hey, people listen to him," he said, scanning the hallway to make sure no one was eavesdropping on their conversation. "You have influence, Jordan. People like you. Besides, you're actually really a good guy." Jordan folded his muscular arms across his chest, veins prominent beneath his tan skin. Alex tried to ignore how attractive he was looking, his confident stance and the slight furrow of his brow. God, I could jump his bones right here in the hallway and not care who's watching, Alex thought, forcing himself to stay focused on their conversation. George cleared his throat and responded meekly, "I don't really want to get into it with Bart. He'll make problems for me. It always gets ugly on social media. He'll start calling me childish names like he always does. Sure, it's embarrassing for him, but it'll affect me too. I'll lose my fans, my Instagram following." "Are you really afraid to say nothing to him?" Alex asked gently, his voice cracking with disappointment. Jordan flinched slightly. "Alex, I've built something here. I can't throw it away. Everyone knows Bart is bad news and shouldn't be the class president. I just don't want to get involved. You'll see. It's not going to be as bad as you think." His eyes softened, shoulders slumped almost imperceptibly. "I'm sorry, dude, but you're on your own. Good luck, really. You know I'll vote for you, and honestly, I hope you win," he said, slipping into a nearby group of jocks to avoid any further conversation with Alex. Alex's campaign kicked off the following week. He was determined to defeat Bart, with or without Jordan's help. He and Emma set up a table in the cafeteria that was plastered with campaign posters. They were vibrant, featuring rainbow colors and slogans of love, friendship, inclusion, and fairness. Bart and his cronies nearby scoffed openly, loudly whispering hateful slurs within earshot, calling them childish names and mocking them at every opportunity. Ignore them. Everyone knows he's a joke. Good people always prevail. But Alex can feel his resolve faltering under Bart's insults, criticism, and hate-fueled remarks. Later that day, in the locker room, Bart strolled up to Jordan. Jordan had just finished a 4-mile run and had done some light lifting. He was fresh from the showers. His body was glistening, part water, part sweat. A towel clung low around his hips, leaving very little to the imagination. He was alone, moments away from slipping out of his towel and jumping into a pair of Hugo Boss black boxer briefs, when a voice boomed behind him. "Hey, last week, a bunch of guys saw you talking to our buddy Alex. You know he's running against me for class president, right?" Jordan didn't even look up. He just responded, "Yeah, I heard. What about it?" Bart leaned up against the locker, trying to intimidate him. "I just want to know whose side you're on. If you're Team Alex, well, that's your call. You could hang out with those little fairies and flutter around his social circle. But let me be clear, my enemies don't exactly thrive around here. I've left you alone because, well, I like you. But cross me, and I'll out you faster than you would swipe right on a shirtless picture of Shawn Mendes. And don't think you'll be invited to another party game or anything else around here for that matter." Jordan straightened up and met his gaze. "You better not threaten me. You might bully the other kids in this school, but don't push me around." Jordan's blood boiled. Bart leaned in and threatened. And if you don't play ball with me, I'll tear into you too. I'm all about winning, and I'll do whatever it takes to get my way. Am I clear?" Jordan was done. He had nothing more to say except, "Oh, we're clear." Over the next few weeks, Jordan kept his distance from both Alex and Bart. He kept his mouth shut about the campaign and said nothing about what was happening at school. Alex could see what was going on. He had a strong feeling Bart had gotten to Jordan. And though he was disappointed, he wasn't surprised. Jordan never did like conflict. Although he was popular, he was no hero. Alex had wished he'd remembered that before approaching him at the locker weeks ago for his help. As the election grew closer, it became painfully clear. Alex was going to lose, and badly. Bart's insults and the childish names he used for anyone associated with Alex grew more vicious. His slurs, taunts, and cheap shots at Alex and his identity were increased every day. Jordan watched helplessly from the sidelines, his heart heavy about what was happening to his friends. He wanted to speak up. He wanted to help. But now, more than ever, was obvious what was cruel, calculated, and unstoppable. It was the day of the final debate, just hours before the election, and the entire school gathered in the auditorium to hear both candidates debate one last time. Alex knew he had no chance of winning this election, but it was too late to back out. He was determined to lose it with dignity, knowing that at least she stood up to the school bully. As the audience squirmed on his behalf, whispering and mocking him with demeaning nicknames that Bart had popularized, Alex tried to remain calm and composed. The moderator, a kindly old English teacher named Mr. Edmonds, thoughtfully posed questions to each candidate. Alex answered his questions with sincerity, explaining how, if elected, he would work to make the school safer, more inclusive, and more supportive of the students with special needs. But Bart's derisive laughter and jeering drowned out most of Alex's message. Every time a thought-provoking question was asked, Bart responded with lies, jokes, and hollow promises. The auditorium echoed with applause for Bart's mockery, but not Alex's truth. Try as he might, Mr. Edmonds couldn't get Bart to offer a real answer or articulate any kind of real plan. Still, Bart's bravado and grandstanding stole the show. Alex felt defeated, knowing that thought, logic, and truth had no place in this campaign. As the debate droned on, Alex felt his voice faltering under the strain. Defeat was imminent, and he knew it. Hell, everyone knew it. Then, something unexpected happened. A stir moved through the crowd. Students shifted in their seats and turned to look toward the back of the room. Someone was moving. A figure was pushing through the audience with steady, purposeful strides. Through the blinding spotlight, Alex could make out there was Jordan rising from his seat. His eyes were blazing with determination. The room quickly fell silent. "Enough, Bart." Jordan's voice rang out clear and commanding. "You can't keep tearing down people to build yourself up. Alex is everything the school needs. Kind, brave, and genuine. He's the kind of person who should lead this school, and I support him as the next class president." A shocking murmur rippled through the audience. Bart barked out a laugh. "If you've got something to say, Mary, why don't you just flutter up here and say it to my face?" Jordan raised an eyebrow. "First of all, my name's not Mary. Just like yours isn't Bozo the Clown. But, though honestly, I think that would be more appropriate, and I don't flutter. If anything, you waddle. I'm an adult, and I don't need to put people down to make myself feel big." Jordan walked up to the stage confidently, turned to Alex, and gave him a reassuring nod. He faced the crowd, and Jordan continued, "Speaking of proud, I'm gay, I'm proud, and I'm done hiding." The audience fell into stunned silence, but Jordan's voice didn't waver. "I support Alex because he stands for everything we should aspire to be. Everyone deserves love, respect, and equal treatment, not just the privileged few. With Alex as our class president, I know that every student will be treated fairly, not just the ones with a last name that gets them a varsity jacket." The auditorium erupted. Thunderous applause filled the robe. Students leapt to their feet in support. For the first time, Bart looked shaken. He opened his mouth to say something, but then closed it again. There was nothing to say. Jordan had dismantled him with a single insult. Alex stood stunned. He turned to Jordan, who smiled and just reached for his hand. And in that moment, Alex knew it didn't matter what happened with the voting. She had already won something greater. 3 days later, Alex's name echoed triumphantly through the loudspeakers. He was officially the new class president. The celebration was private and intimate. Just Alex and Jordan, nestled comfortably together in Alex's bed. The soft hum of indie music floated around them, blending perfectly with the warm, flickering light of candlelight. Alex leaned back into Jordan's embrace, his heartbeat syncing perfectly and steadily with the rhythm of Jordan's breath. Jordan traced slow, teasing patterns up and down Alex's arm. He sent shivers cascading down his spine. "You know," Jordan murmured softly, his voice rich and husky, lips brushing against Alex's ears. "I've fantasized about this moment exactly like this for so long. I can't believe that I wasted the last year worrying about what everyone thought of me." Alex shifted slightly, gazing deeply into Jordan's eyes, a playful smile on his lips. "It takes courage to embrace who we really are. Most people don't understand just how brave it is." Jordan didn't reply. Well, not with the words. Instead, he gently repositioned himself, his body pressed firmly against Alex's. His fingers slid beneath Alex's shirt, exploring the muscular contours of his chest, his breathing hitched with anticipation. "Care to show me what else I missed when I was busy worrying about what other people thought of me?" Jordan whispered, leaning in close. Alex responded with an eager, teasing grin. Clothes quickly became an unnecessary annoyance as they pulled off their shirts and hastily unbuttoned their jeans. Boxer briefs were soon tossed off carelessly onto the floor beneath them, and skin was eagerly pressing against skin. Both Alex and Jordan's hands rolled freely against the other's body, exploring, teasingly claiming their prize with every tantalizing inch. Their passions burned in them with an intensity that was wild until they finally lay tangled together breathlessly and satisfied, basking in the warmth of their shared pleasure. Words were unnecessary. Everything important had already been said through soft moans, hungry kisses, and the exquisite comfort of each other's embrace. The next morning, wrapped contently in each other's arms, Alex rested his head lazily on Jordan's chest. "You realize," Jordan teased, "you're officially in charge now." Alex chuckled softly, pressing a lingering kiss onto Jordan's neck. Oh yeah, that's right. Or to be honest, it's all thanks to you." Jordan flashed a mischievous smirk, lifting Alex's chin to meet his gaze. Well then, Mr. President, I have an urgent proposal to submit." Alex has raised an entreating eyebrow. "And what's your proposal?" he asked. Jordan's lips captured Alex's in a slow, deep, intoxicating kiss. Then he pulled back slightly. He murmured, "I propose we revisit last night's agenda immediately." Alex grinned, wrapping his arms around Jordan's neck. "Well, I did promise that I'd listen closely to my constituents." Jordan playfully pinned down Alex once again, and beneath him his eyes twinkled with excitement. "Well, what'll it be, Mr. President?" Alex laughed, drawing Jordan in closer. "Well, as your president, I promise I'll best service you." And with that, Alex's head hastily disappeared under the sheets once again as Jordan smiled at his most excellent decision to not only support his friend, but to come out and be his true, authentic self. A big congratulations to Alex, our newly elected senior class president, and good on Jordan for finally embracing his truth and choosing love. In the end, isn't that what it's really all just about? Acceptance, compassion, unity, and inclusion? We believe so, and we'll keep spreading the message that love always trumps hate. Thanks for joining us in this month's Steamy Story. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment, share the episode, and keep tuning in. We'd love bringing these stories to you, and we'll be back soon with another one. But until then, later, bro.